volume down by 2. Can't even hear it. Yes! Asel Tante Oso, that bear you all know. Out of hibernation to entertain Raider Nation. What? I know, you heard me. Alexa, lower volume by 4. Oh, now we're okay. Now it's like a love song now. Like having it on full blast. Oh, yeah, don't drop that. Woo! Often imitated, never duplicated. That fool with no hair that shouts like Ric Flair. Woo! Woo! The Raider Bear! Hooray! No, that's enough. That's enough of that. Alexa, stop. Raiders! I was only kidding. I always finish that. You can't like bluff it and then not do it. That's not me. So what's up? Everybody? Welcome to the showeth, my peoples. Let me say hi to everyone real quick. Josh Russell, Jim Vanderlyn, Bear. Jim Vanderlyn got the first comments through my YouTube page. And remember, if you would subscribe on my YouTube page, please. Okay, let's move forward. Tradish, Josh, Russell, the heavyweight champion of the world, number 1 once again, back to back, because that's how he rolls. Second place, silver medal, Tony. Make it dip. He make it dip. You got to just tell the DJs, you missed your calling. That's what you should have been, DJ. No doubt about it. Third place, bronze medal, Sean Paul Doty. Sean, sup, brother? Welcome to the show. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now the gold medal was YouTube. And with the gold medal from YouTube was Jim Vanderlyn. But the second place from YouTube was Kim Calhoun. Kim, sup? You're my silver medalist tonight from YouTube. And also on YouTube, third place, but only in third place as well as the show goes. Not in my heart. Anna Diaz Rinco. Hi, Anna. Much love to you, girl. Good to see you again. All right, so let me just keep it rolling, and then we'll start talking about all the various yik yak we're going to talk about, and get that done. Carlos Magana, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. I appreciate that, Kim. That's sweet of you. She loves that Raider call. I love that too. I hope Raider Nation can have patience with this new staff. Honestly, we win 2 and we look great. Then we lose 1 where we were within a 1 score and everyone's furious. It's never going to change. There's literally nothing you can do about it. Raider fan, when we lose, is going to say, what the hell is going on? You didn't really expect a perfect season, did you? He's had 3 games. He won the first 2. Okay, and then we played a scrappy Miami team in Miami and came within 1 score. But, we just got to fix all this stuff. Our defense is playing fantastic. We have a rookie quarterback. It'll come together. Kevin Woke. What's up, Kev? Welcome to the show. Supporter. That's my guy. And remember, consider a subscription to Raider Bear Family Page on YouTube. It's just $5 a month and you can cancel anytime. And just to make that $5 seem like it's nothing, it's $60 for the entire year. So I always say, think of it like you're buying me a pair of jeans. And then I'll take that pair of jeans and send them all over the world. And it helps people with cancer. It also helps kids in hospitals. And it also helps kids with autism. Very good. All right, I'm going to keep moving. Honestly, I don't even like plugging. You know what I mean? I don't like doing it. I mean, I see all these other guys do it, and I don't like doing it. If you watch my show and you enjoy yourself, you'll be back. And if you're not, you're done with me. And I'm done with you, no. Loving our new vibe, right? It has been nice. Edgar Lucky De Leon, Bear. Hi, Mr. Bear. It's Tommy. What's up, Tommy? Is here too, but he's not in a happy mood because his Eagles aren't looking good at Val. No, Tommy, no. You're gonna have a nice little bounce back game. The Niners look like they're a machine, but they're not. And the Philadelphia Eagles will give them the business. I wouldn't be worried about Tommy. I think the Eagles are nice. Now, of course, the Niners do have a good team right now. I'm not trying to tell you that, your guys are going to beat them up, but it'll be a good game. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm glad what we got so far. I mean, if we're going to make that big a deal out of it this soon, that's nuts. We don't really want Antonio Pierce if we're going to act like that. Every time he has a loss, we're going to go crazy and say, oh, I should. Come on. Not to mention, it was against a very high-scoring Miami offense in Miami. You know what I mean? And the loss we had could have been worse. It could have been a lot worse. And our defense said no, kept us within one score. So that's a victory in and of itself. And then also, if you had if you yourself personally had the Raiders winning this year, going into the playoffs at the very least, or maybe winning a Super Bowl, even if you had expectations like that, I would ask you, that person personally, male or female, to understand that we fired a coach in the middle of the start of our season. And now we have to work with a guy who's been there and we love him, but he wasn't the head coach. Now suddenly he is the head coach, and that could change variables in the locker room. Now, so far, it seems like it's all worked. In other words, it's changed the mentality in the locker room to a point of like, hey, now we're the bad news Bears and we can just go out there every weekend and, let it rip. And if we don't win, that's what everyone expects because we fired our coach and we've had this calamity. But if they win, it looks amazing. You see what I mean? So Easy does it. What's up, man? Welcome to the show. Peach Bear, I think we need to, preach. I think we need to relax. When didn't it get here overnight? So it's going to take a minute. Yeah, a year. Well, Tony, honestly, I think everything we wanted fell right into our laps. Now, I don't mean to be, pat myself on the back, but just sometimes, I have to do that because when I get things wrong, everybody wants me to talk about that. But remember, when the season started, I said the perfect scenario would be AOC coming in around week 6, week 8, somewhere between week 6 and week 8. And that's exactly what we got. And thus far, he's been in 3 games with a 2-win start. So, did we expect 3-0 from the rookie? Yes. But is that fair? No. He was playing on the road. He's playing a playoff team, potentially in the Dolphins. Okay. Excuses all finished. And I know he threw 3 interceptions, but I'm telling you, that's just rookie stuff. I'm telling you, that's just rookie stuff. We have to swallow the bullet and be good with the kid until we get to the end of the year and he gets to really see tape on what guys are doing to him. And then we'll know. I don't think he's a backup. I really don't. Supposed to be no front line. Yeah. I thought AOC did well too. I mean, when you can consider the first 2 games, he was reading his progressions. He was going through, he was setting up the offensive line. He was calling out the mic. And a lot of times I watched him call out the mic and he was right. Sometimes they dropped back, but oftentimes they held for a moment and then blitz. So he was but calling out the correct mic. And when you're doing that as a kid, that's pretty good. Travis Kelly said, I'm proud to be a Raider and they didn't score 70 on us. Exactly. Thank you. I'm proud of my team too, Kim. I appreciate that. AOC will be just fine. I still say he's our QB1 in 2024. I think so, especially honestly when you're seeing now Caleb Williams, his name is kind of dropping down. Bear, here's my take on the game. The Dolphins have the top-ranked offense, and we held them to 20 points. That's great, but they also have a very good defense, and Jalen Ramsey is one of the few defensive backs that can stay with Devontae Adams. Also, I also think our offensive production was hurt a lot because of Colton Miller being hurt. Of course. I mean, he's your left tackle. So you said that politely, but you didn't have to. I mean, you lose your left tackle, you're usually going to lose the game. I'm serious. They're that important. More than any wide receiver or running back, is cornerback and then your left and right tackle. That's just my opinion. That's the guy. If you don't have those guys, your starter at least, you're going to get beat up. Troy Gill, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. The Chiefs are winning, but I think we'll get better next week. Well, what was that? Edgar Lucky DeLeon, welcome to the show one more time. Matt Marinovich, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. Troy Gill, I don't think we need a new quarterback. I really like this kid. We have to demonstrate patience, Troy, because we have to remember he came in the middle of the season. He didn't know that was going to happen. He came in and just has the playbook thrown at him. His coach gets fired, and he's got Antonio Pierce saying, "Go get him, kid." That's a lot of pressure. And then he won and played really well. And the second game, he won and he played really well. And now he had a bad game, And and really, honestly, if you look at it, it wasn't that bad. The interceptions were bad, but if he only throws one instead of two, we probably win that game. And that would have been on the road to the Dolphins. That's a pretty big win if we had gotten that. We got close. Favre and Rodgers did worse. Nubbin ain't lubbin. Oh, no, ain't nubbin. I'm still with you, brother. I'm still with you. I believe that too. I believe we're going to get the Chiefs. I want two, but if we get one, I'll be satisfied. See, people are saying we need a veteran quarterback, but to me, they are all over their prime. He's a rookie. Give them time. Blaine perfectly said, appreciate that. Great profile picture, bro. But I would say this to you. Not only would I stick with it, I would stick with it because we just can't keep changing regimes and then wondering why we're not winning. Now, don't get me wrong. I was all on board for firing Josh McDaniels from day one. I didn't like it from day one. He's not a coach. He is an offensive coordinator. Because I said he's not a coach. And someone said, well, he used to coach the offense. I'm like, no, he didn't. He was a coordinator. Only one guy gets to be the coach. The rest are coordinators and assistants and things like that. And you may call him an offensive line coach, but he's an offensive line assistant. Shane Street, there you are, my guy right there. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Tony, make it dip. Williams is a diva, and we don't want that. Can't argue with that. Need to work on our offensive line. Sean Paldoni, although you're right, we have what we have at this point. There really is no working with it. We have what we have. You're not going to bring in a free agent offensive lineman or anything like that. And even if you did, you're not necessarily going to get improvement. But I don't think the offensive line is the problem. I really don't. In fact, I think if you go back and watch the game again, you'll notice there were plenty of times for AOC to get off balls. It's just they were covered or he was making the wrong reads. But the offensive line is not to blame. And with that being said, they didn't have their leader in Colton Miller. So I'm kind of taking a break on him in that way. Bear! What's up, Mark Vargas? I'm going to do them all tonight. Let's see. AP said we kept the playbook vanilla, but we win as a team and lose as a team. Our coaches are communicating and our players are reciprocating that. Reciprocating? He's killing me over here, Travis Kelly. It's going to come together sooner rather than later. Woo! Listen to the word repertoire on Travis Kelly. I can't say your own last name. On Travis Kelly. Reciprocating. I love that word. Okay, so let me see. Sorry, I was so stunned by your word usage. They did say they were running vanilla stuff, but they were running vanilla stuff for a reason. I think they felt like an old school run and pass package offense would beat on a new school Miami offense and defense, and it was there. There were opportunities, but we didn't win. I don't really think much has to be changed. In other words, in our next game, if he wanted to take this same logic and same game plan into it, I'm good with it. He wants to run the ball. He wants to throw at the right moments, move the chains. Every once in a while, have his quarterback run a few yards and slide, and that's it. And eat up time of possession. You play a fast team, you slow them down. You play passive. You play, your pass and your run game to slow down just a little bit. Doc Raider, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Do you know how long we'll be without Colton Miller? No, I know that Colton Miller, though, was tagged to come in the next game or two. So they even thought about starting him here and said, no, we got to be, sure, because it's such a crazy position. And if you're talking about his feet, you got to make sure he's right before you put him out there. Steven Shaw, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Good to see you again. Tony, make it dip. I didn't like before they hired McDumdums. Yeah, McDumbass, I'll just say. Denton Rhodes, Space Force. I don't know if you've been here at the end, Denton Rhodes. I've been doing it. I have. Speaking of doing it, tomorrow to the contributor of the most stars tonight. I don't know if we're going to do it tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. You have to see. I'll give you a maybe, so you don't know if you should tune in, but you probably should tune in. Wait a minute. Is that all it does? Oh no! Look at that. It lights up like a Christmas tree. Hint, hint. Christmas gift. Oh yeah, there it is. Las Vegas. Oh, and it even uncorks, so you can change the lights in it. I meant to say that if you wanted to, or add more, or whatever the case may be. Whew. Okay, here we go. Shane Street said, "Facts, Bear. Appreciate that from YouTube. We definitely can't keep changing. I agree. Well, honestly, that's why I think they not only should keep Antonio Pierce, but they should take the interim part off the title. They should just go ahead and name him as head coach. I think that would do a lot for the locker room that's already gotten a lot. The boost from firing the dictator, Josh McDaniels. Now that we fired the McDaniels, now you got the locker room boosted. You got the players excited. They win 2 games. Then they get a loss. Now, how do you interject energy into that locker room again? Come out, on the next game. If we lose this next game, then you do it. If we don't lose the next game, you just let them keep running it. And then let's say they lose the game after that. Then Mark Davis should go in the locker room and say, I want to tell everybody, listen up, players, everybody come on in. And puts his arm around Antonio Pierce and says, I'm taking the interim title off our guy's name. He's going to be your head coach. And let them scream and go crazy and light the cigars again. And that would just boost the energy in the locker room again one more time, really hard. And personally, as rah-rah as that sounds, as win one for the Gipper as that might sound, I think it would work. I really do. I think the firing of Josh McNuggets was the start of it, but now now that you're going to have to start really winning games, get back in that locker room the moment they have another loss and say, let's go. Tony, make it dip. USMC, baby. Raiders Nation, win or lose or tie. Always a Raider fan. Tell him, brother. We really never win against Miami anyways. It's sad to say, though, we have back in the day. Well, Blaine, I'm not concerned with which wins we got or which losses. I agree with what you're saying. You're saying the Dolphins have played as tough for a while now. But, they're an organization like ours. They're going to show up sometimes and play well. They were at home. You know what I mean? And I don't want to say I didn't like us against Miami. I just felt like maybe they might do some things that could mess with our defense. And in reality, they didn't. They only scored 20 points. Matt Marinovich, Raiders should look at the Dolphins playbook and give O'Connell more quick, short passes, especially when the run isn't working. Matt Marinovich, great comment. I would say this to you. They might have tried to be too clever. You know what I mean? Maybe that's part of the problem. I don't know. And in the being conservative, because the moment you say being conservative, a fan gets mad. They say to themselves, well, wait a minute, why aren't we being aggressive? Because that's not always the answer. So if they had went conservative with a small pass, multi running back, plays, run, pass, run, pass, really lean on the running game. And then throw as much as you have to win or catch them by surprise. Now what you've done is you've won the game and you've won it and dominated with a close to the vest type of, conservative offense. But it didn't win. And so now we're upset because it didn't win. Now, personally, I try not to forget that part of it. You know what I mean? It's like a 50-50 dance. Had he done it, we all cheer. But it didn't work. He's a bum. You know what I mean? To me, there's somewhere in the middle. We shouldn't be on one side or the other. I think this offensive coordinator has been doing a pretty good job. The first two games, he came right out of he came blasted out of a cannon. I want to see more of what he did in the very first game. The offensive line was coaching the offensive coordinator was coaching, because his play call of that first game was incredible. It was incredible. He had our guy hitting everybody. They need to go back to that. They need to go back to that. I'm not telling them that they need to change things. I would just go back to what worked for the kid. I agree, man. Absolutely. Appreciate that, Shane. I think Anthony P. gave the players a boost, but not blaming the QB. Yeah. That would have been a mistake, because with a guy this young, he's gonna have games like this. He's gonna make mistakes like this. There are guys in the Hall of Fame that did the exact same thing. Troy Aikman is one of them. He had a 1-15 season, and then they won the Super Bowl the next year. You know, not only can it be done, it seems to get done every year. There's always a bad team that shows up out of nowhere, plays pretty well, and people get worried and go, man, where's this team coming from? As long as you're not talking about the Thunder in San Diego / Los Angeles Chargers. They had their chance and they couldn't run us down. So we're still second in the AFC. Own that, you chumps. And the Broncos, yeah, you know what I mean? Now we're all of a sudden now we're hearing the Broncos are going to be back. Oh, and the Chargers are going to figure out their problems. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. No, that's not likely. And anyone that saw the Chargers press conference knows what I'm saying when I say to you, go watch the Chargers press conference. The head coach literally uses his Superman laser eyes and burns a reporter to death. I mean, it was bad. He was lecturing this reporter like his teacher called before class to tell his parents that he was getting an F. Is Brandon Parker ready to play? I'm not sure about that. Marcus Atchison, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Always there for Raider Bear. I keep hearing the Jets are going to try and persuade Raiders to trade Davante Adams to New York this offseason. If you were Mark Davis, would you consider it? Well, okay, when you ask that question, I would have to levy something back to you. And since I can't, because we're on a show, I'll just put it this way. Would he do a deal? Well, do we know what the deal is? No. So if the deal is poor, he won't do it. If the deal is, knock our socks off, he will do it because he's still only one wide receiver, whether he's one of the best or the best in football. One wide receiver does not turn a franchise around. They're sexy. It's fun to have that big, fast, tall, muscular guy on your team ripping up the ground and hooking left and hooking right. All that's dope. But that doesn't win Super Bowls. And go back to any Super Bowl you've ever watched. Did one of those teams have a guy like that? Usually not. I mean, do they have a number one? Sure, but not a number one that's like setting Hall of Fame records like you have with Davante Adams. Now, personally, I wouldn't make a deal. I don't like giving up pieces that I know are effective for what? Draft picks that I don't know who will become of them. And let's say we traded Davante Adams to get picks, and then our pick is Tyree Wilson. Yeah, you guys are seeing what I'm saying now, right? That Tyree Wilson pick is starting to look a little fugazi, and we would have been giving them Davante Adams for that. You know what I mean? And don't make me go over our other picks in the last few drafts and where they are now. Jail, out of the league with all sorts of lawsuits on him because he did a rap video and said the guy's name that he was going to kill. Hi, Mr. Raider Bear. I really wanted my Eagles to get revenge against the Dirty Chiefs and beat them before the Raiders play them. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen. Tommy, I like how you sign your stuff. Appreciate you, Tommy. Tommy, I wouldn't worry. I really wouldn't. This is going to sound weird to you, what I'm about to say, but it's the God's honest truth. The Eagles are bored. They're bored. They're that good. They know they're going to be in the playoffs, and they know they're going to have a shot at a ring. So right now, they're bored. You know what I mean? But Tommy, trust me when I say this to you, the Eagles, if not the best team in football, they're the second best team in football. Because the Niners really, they're getting scary. They're doing stuff with a number 7th round Mr. Nobody quarterback that you just shouldn't be able to do. And they're doing it. Hi, Corinna Trujillo. Welcome to the show. As always, love you, girl. Carlos Megana, what do you think about the upcoming game between KC and the Raiders, bro? Good question. Let me go on to that. What I think about it is we're going to go in and we're going to try to win that game. I personally think we're going to at least get them once this year. And the reason I think that is because I think that we will surprise them and attack their defensive line with a running attack. And then with that, we played their defense with our new defense playing as well as it's playing. Why did I struggle through that? Sorry. But the Niners look legit. They really do. If we're going to get it done, it's going to have to, we're probably going to have to go through them because I think they're going to win their division for sure. What's up, Raider Bear family? Feels good to be a Raider fan. The just win energy is back. Right, Eddie Willis? Appreciate the love. Sherry Abstander, AOC has a rating of 20.73 touchdowns, 6 turnovers in 3 games. He is not the guy, at least right now. He's another pocket passer. I don't see him moving around at all. We need a mobile quarterback to be competitive in this league. And I agree. AP should get a real shot at coach. AOC has potential for sure, but he is in a trial by fire. Sherry, wow, great comment. And now, see, I would counter when you said he's just a pocket guy. Just about every quarterback that's won the Super Bowl was a pocket guy. The majority of the teams that win with a quarterback that does not scramble. And in this day and age, with the guy's size and speed being bigger and faster than it's ever been, we've got guys that weigh close to 300 pounds running like defensive backs. Okay, and if you get your quarterback knocked out or broken bone or, dislocated shoulder, any of those things, your season's over. Look at the Jets. Do you think they want Aaron Rodgers to be able to be mobile? He only barely began to be mobile, and he popped his Achilles with no contact. That's not normal. Now, as far as what you said about trial by fire, though, see, I like that. And we can't forget, Sherry, don't forget what he did in his first 2 games. You're critiquing his last game, okay, and his rating as a result of that. Remember, in the first 2 games, he really handed it down. I mean, he really held it down and handed these other teams 2 losses where they didn't get to him. Our offensive line played well. Now, can he bounce back? I think the answer is yes, beyond a shadow of a doubt, because I think the Dolphins game, we need to give the Dolphins a little bit more credit in that they got on AOC, they disrupted him, and they ran looks on defense that he didn't recognize, and thus he threw interceptions. But great question, Sherry. Appreciate that. Yeah, draft picks are always iffy, and I don't like giving away things that I know are assets for iffy. You know what I mean? Eagles just scored, so Dustin King! Woo! Dustin King. Appreciate the stars. Dustin King. Much love to you, brother. And you notice, I don't even know how much he said. I don't care. Anyone that sends me coins, I just say thank you. I pray we shore up our offensive and defensive lines in the offseason. That's where championships are won. Marcus Atchison, I can't agree with you more. I can't. I wish I could, but I can't. I can only agree with you is just say you're gosh darn right. Because I honestly, let me just ask this question. Does my audience know exactly how much better this team would be if we just had one decent defensive end on the opposite side of Max Crosby? See, Marcus Atchison is correct, but I don't even care if they didn't get a lot of talent in an attempt to get a lot of talent from the NCAA draft for our interior defensive linemen. In my opinion, we can keep with this guy Jenkins that we originally got from the Dolphins. He is a run-stuffing beast. I love Jenkins at our nose. And then we need a defensive end that can keep them from doubling and triple teaming Max Crosby. You do that, we're going to the playoffs. I believe that. And there's guys in free agency we could bring back that could probably do it. But all right, here we go. 17-14 Chiefs. Thank you for calling the score. Jim Vandler and Bear, what's your opinion on going for it twice on 4th down in the 4th quarter instead of taking the field goals? Personally, I like the aggression the first time, and since that failed, they're really a choice the second time. How do I feel about it? Well, I think it's a little bit crazy. I would need to know a little bit more about the time of possession. In other words, going for it twice on 4th down in the 4th quarter. Okay, well, did he do that with 10 minutes left on the quarter or 5 minutes left on the quarter? Because then my opinion of it changes. If there's 10 minutes left in the quarter, I probably do it because I would anticipate stopping them, getting the ball back anyway, if that's the strategy. You know what I mean? Mama Bear.
Do you have coffee?
I do. I'm on it tonight. Okay. I'm not expecting Coach AP to be Andy Reid. He's literally learning on the job. Not bad for a rookie quarterback and a rookie head coach in a hostile environment. Eddie Willis, completely agree. Welcome to the show. And we have to remember, we don't want to make, Sherry just a moment ago, she said she's sure he's not our guy. Now, see, I would think, would she have said that if we didn't have that loss? And you'd only seen his first 2 games. Would you have said that then? Probably. You seem like you know football. But my point is that if he goes on to win 2 more games, and he ends up going 4-1, do you still think he couldn't be the guy? So I'm saying we got to watch. We have to see what we get, Sherry. And I didn't mean to call you out. I'm just saying we have to watch and see what we get, because I think there's a very good chance that AOC could be the guy. I really do. I don't want a guy that, like Lamar Jackson. Okay, everyone goes crazy about Lamar Jackson. What has he won? Nothing. He's won nothing. And the only thing he's doing now is getting older. And thus far, all these seasons with his dominating, legs and baby could escape the pocket, it's won them nothing. So I don't know if you want a quarterback that can run, or if you want a quarterback that's a pocket guy. For example, the quarterback who has the most championships in NFL history can't run a lick. The guy that's behind him now, who most people consider the actual best ever, Joe Montana, could not run. Multiple Super Bowls. Steve Young is one of the only arguments you can make that I would have a hard time disagreeing with you. If you said, Steve Young, we need someone like Steve Young. Well, okay. That guy won a Super Bowl. How many guys are like him that won a Super Bowl? Lefty and, can actually hibernate, listen to me, that can actually hide the pocket and then know when it's time to go. But that hat was squeezing my head so hard I had to take it off. Okay. That's why. I can feel people going, what did that? We lost a chance to possibility of a tiebreaker. We need to sweep the Chiefs and take the division. Well, Dustin King, yes, in a best case scenario, that's what you want to do. If we can get one against them this year, I'll be happy. I don't think it's not realistic, guys, for us to just say they'll sweep the Chiefs next year and this year. You know what I mean? The Chiefs are good. They've done a lot. Now, are they vulnerable now? Yes, that's where I think their tight end, who's their all-pro, is distracted. He's tired. He's been all but talking about it. He mentioned retirement. Do you see what I'm saying? Now, as fans, you and I, we go, wait a minute, he's going to retire? He's still pretty young. Well, but guys, trust me, you make $100 million, and you have this gorgeous wife, you want to start a family, you're ready to get away from football. Because remember, he's going to have enough money now and a ton of time through his 30s, 40s, and 50s to just party his life away, with his new wife. And it doesn't get much better than that. So I think that's why I would do it that way. If you're going to go out after you make your money. We lost a chance to possibly tiebreaker. Yeah. Tony Make It Dip says, I disagree. Well, then I'm not talking to him anymore. Yeah, we had a long evening. Yep. Tell her, I see you, Tony. Troy Gale. Mama Bear. Troy said hello. Troy said hello. I said Troy said hello. I was going to stop the whole show for it. All right, here we go. Yes. Running quarterbacks get hurt quick. That's what, yeah. Well, then you do agree with me, I thought. I think O'Donnell needs to go through his reads faster and step up in the pocket. Edgard, I think he should too, but he's a rookie. So we have to see him do that. I think in the next couple of games, you may see him do that. And I do think I trust this quarterback. I do. I liked him during the draft when we picked this kid up. Okay. You might be aware of this. Some of you, yes, some of you know, but here it is. Aiden O'Connell had the third highest accuracy and completion percentage of all the quarterbacks in the draft. And the only two quarterbacks that had a better statistic in those regards, other than him, was Bryce Young and CJ Stroud, the number 1 and number 2 picks. So in other words, whoever was just under those two is who we got. And that is AOC. Go back, watch his highlights from Purdue. I'm telling you, he has to get comfortable. You know what I mean? He is, not to joke, because I know we've already made jokes about this, but he is a gunslinger. Now, gunslinger doesn't mean deep. It means quick and accurate. That's a gunslinger. Stands in there, finds a guy, boom. Stands in there, finds a guy, boom. That's a gunslinger. And someone that's not afraid to throw into traffic, which, by the way, in his last win, AOC had Devontae Adams surrounded by 3, not 1, not 2, 3 defensive backs. One coming from Devontae's left, one coming from his right, and one right behind him. And AOC went, here you go. and put one right on him. And you could see everybody's fingertips almost reaching the ball, but nope. Davante Adams was so surprised it got there. The ball caught him. He didn't catch the ball. He just happened to have his hands up and the ball went, here you go, buddy. I'm serious. I have a DVR. If you go back and watch that moment, I'm telling you, you can see it. And he had a fantastic catch, but it took a perfect throw. The kid has potential up the wazoo. Okay. And we already saw the stats from college. It's all there. He's going to bring it together. You're going to see it. I'm telling you. He's going to be good. And I don't do that. I'm being honest with you. I don't do that. I don't go out on a limb and say, oh, this guy's this and this guy's that. I don't do that unless it's true. I don't do that. You know what I mean? Or I believe it's true. I don't do that. And I've watched AOC. I saw him in college. I saw his tape with Purdue. I love this kid. Yeah, no, okay. See, now Sean Paul said it best. I'm comfortable with AOC as our starter. It's a fresh start. Yes, but it's in the middle of a season. So business-wise, you get an opportunity to see what AOC is made of. And then if it's not good enough, then you go out and go get a veteran quarterback from somewhere. But see, like this thing was starting over and firing the coach. No, you got to make Antonio Pierce the head coach, not interim. Take that interim stuff off of it. Because if you don't let him be the head coach, guess what the alternative is? You get another head coach. Well, what does that mean? That means you get another regime. And now we got to get rid of these players and add my guys. And, the hell with that. Carlos Megan, I appreciate that. I don't want a run first quarterback, but I want a quarterback that is a threat to run. That type of quarterback keeps the defense honest and on their heels. Okay, I agree that it keeps them honest. I agree that it keeps them on their heels. I just don't want a running quarterback. I just don't. If you look throughout the centuries of the millennia of football, that's not what wins Super Bowls. That can't be a coincidence. You know what I mean? Look at the kid, Kyler Murray with the Arizona Cardinals. There, right there is your prototype, right? He can run, he can throw, blah, blah, blah. The guy that got in the whole sex scandal thing, that's with the Browns now, he can run too. Hadn't been putting wins together. He just keeps getting hurt. It gets your guy hurt. You know what I mean? Just Okay, Eddie Willis. If Coach AP could go blank and blank in the last 6 games, he deserves the head coach job. Can you give us your thoughts, Bear? Not only, okay, I kind of already said it, Eddie Willis, but I can add more to it. I already basically said they need to take the interim title off his name. Because if you do that, the players will have even more respect for him than they do now. And they'll play even harder. This spark we got came from AP being named the coach. Now, and I just said this earlier, I don't know if you missed it, but I'm saying basically if AOC and the Raiders go into this next game and win, don't do it yet. If they go into another game and they win, don't do it yet. But then coming off those 2 bounce back wins, we lose. Mark should come right into the locker room and say, look, I'm so sure this guy is the man. I want to let every Raider know I'm taking the interim title off his name. If he did that, it would make the players erupt in the locker room and we'd get another run. Should we hire an offensive coach? I don't think so, Troy. I don't think so. I don't have a problem with the guy that's even calling the calls right now. I don't. He got way more conservative in this last game against Miami than he did in the first 2, but I don't have a problem with that. He also is a rookie offensive coordinator, but he called a hell of a game that first game, guys. Be honest. Don't you remember what we were all looking at? I can remember that first game when he was calling plays, and I was just like, whose offense is this? I was stunned at how many play action and times they went to Josh Jacobs and ran the ball up the middle and then throw to the side and throw to Hunter Renfrow and throw to Davante Adams and then Jacobs. I thought it was a thing of beauty. And then now they had a tough run. Was it bad play calling? Was it bad reads on AOC? We don't really know yet. More of that will come out. I guarantee it. Because when I see their interviews going through this week leading up to our next game, I'll be able to figure it out because they'll talk about it. They'll just talk about it inadvertently. They'll talk about it, sort of camouflage it. So you can't quite say, oh, they meant this or they meant that because you don't want to give anything to the press that they can hold you on. Stephen Shaw says a happy Thanksgiving to all Raider fans. That's right on. Much love, brother. If number 4 doesn't work out, do you think we could work a deal with the Bears for Justin Fields? I would say, yeah, honestly. The only thing that would be in our way is that because it's Justin Fields, there's going to be other teams bidding. Because we've had scenarios like this in the past, and the Raiders just get outbid because even though they may have the money, they don't want to pay that for what they think that player is worth. They want to pay what they think he's worth. Now, if they go under the table and go right to him and say, "Hey, Bears, you guys interested in this?" You know what I mean? If they do that, then you'd have something. And the Hunter Renfro rumors had died down like that. I mean, there's just nothing about it anymore. I've looked all over everywhere. You know what I mean? Ever since we made AP the coach, suddenly Hunter Renfro's name is off the trade block. So I guess that's good. I personally, I think Andre Carter replaces him. Honestly, I think Trey Turner replaces him. We have two other guys that can do the exact same position he does, but with greater speed. And so before anyone wants to lynch me because I'm talking about getting rid of Hunter Renfro, please stop. Because I like Hunter Renfro, but I do think he's also a very valuable piece. And if the Bears need offense and they want to move Justin Fields, so maybe give them a dynamic wide receiver and they give us the quarterback, and maybe we give them like a 6th-round pick and they give us like a 4th-round pick. Done. And then we have a new dynamic quarterback to push our kid, and we'll have their draft pick. To move that and make that into something else. He did thread the needle a few times in the last few games. I will say the kid is poised. Thank you, Sherry. I appreciate that because honestly, he doesn't let mess ups affect him. They said that that's probably his greatest skill. He can throw an interception and then go, "Damn, I'll get the next one." But he doesn't drop his head. He doesn't get depressed. He doesn't think, "Oh, I can't play." He goes out there and lets it rip still. I love that about him. I like Bo Nix, but AOC is the one. I like Bo Nix too. Carlos Magana, saved you, brother. Running quarterbacks get hurt again and in not paying a player to sit on the bench. Yeah, I don't want to go that far, because I'm not against running quarterbacks. I happen to really like Lamar Jackson. I think Lamar Jackson would have a Super Bowl already if he were with a team that's not so conservative as the Ravens. The Ravens are just a real tight-knit organization. You know what I mean? When I say that, I mean that seriously. You say things about certain franchises. The Dallas Cowboys are what? Flamboyant, over the top. Everything's got a sparkle and have pretty blondes on it. And so, you go to Chicago, you go to the Bears, you want to run the ball, and you want to play hard defense. You're going to beat the clock, and you're going to win the game that way, just pulverizing your opponent. See, certain franchises have what you would call their persona, I would say. The Niners have always been known as the West Coast offense, so on and so forth. So I think it would be good just to bring in Fields, because if AOC doesn't do well this year, then you have that dynamic talent. But I think AOC has a chance with this many games to win the job, to outright win the job. And you have to consider too, not only is he a rookie quarterback, but he's a rookie quarterback working his way through the second toughest schedule in football. The second. That means only one team, I don't even know who it is, has a harder difficulty of schedule than we do the rest of the way. So that's going to be rough on our kid, but I want to see if he can do it. I really do. Matt Marinovich, running quarterbacks have a short. Oh, yeah, I read that. I'm sorry. Mahomes is not a running quarterback, but he is a threat to run. That's exactly right. We all understood what you meant, Marcus, but I don't even like that. I mean, because if you think about it, Derek Carr was that. He was a guy that could just get you 6 or 7 yards. Sometimes, how he did it. We also watched him. He used to extend his arm out, get the ball like half a yard further down the field. That's all I really want. But what I was answering was a running quarterback. So if we're just talking about escapability, even the stiffest quarterback can do that. I think AP deserves it now. Let's not make the same mistake with Coach B. Yeah, with Bisaccia, I still, that just was different. I just think that was different, guys. If it was Rich Bisaccia right now, I still wouldn't want him as quarterback. I mean, as a coach, because as Bisaccia was a great guy. He's just a great guy. I don't know how to put it any other way than that. He's just a great guy, and everyone that comes across him loves him. And because he was made the interim head coach, it's like making Santa the interim head coach. You're not going to go against Santa. You know what I mean? Rich Bisaccia is not fat. I just mean that he's, he's so sweet and jolly and kind. He's like the old grandpa you want to hug when you see him, not run routes. You know what I mean? But Bisaccia had no head coaching experience. He had no experience with ever with, countering another team, what they're doing. Never. Now, I'm not saying Antonio Pierce has that much more, but he's been in the NFL as a player and as an assistant with the Raiders for quite a while now. And he said in his press conference, I've always been a Raider. He said that. No one asked him to do that. No one made him do that. He said that. And so he won the locker room over. And I think we're going to be fine. I just think that if you start again by firing him and hiring someone else, then we're right back where we started from with Josh McDaniels and wondering what we're going to get, with this Patriot light that he's trying to bring over here. Russell Wilson was a running quarterback, but the difference in him was unless it was a designed run, he was still looking to throw the ball until he crossed the line of scrimmage. Well, Russell Wilson is an exception, Doc Raider, but it's an exception that should have 2 Super Bowls. So I don't like comparing. Well, shouldn't we have a guy that can move the pocket because Russell Wilson did? Don't get me wrong. Russell Wilson was legit. I personally have called him washed for the last 2 seasons, and I'm not backing off that. I don't care what Sean Casey's doing. I think he's washed completely, washed and dried. that joke never gets old. But I don't know. It's my firm belief that running quarterbacks don't run themselves anywhere except the hospital. I just don't like it. I was impressed with Isaiah Polamau. Yeah, we never should have let that guy go. And the fact that we had an injury that allowed us to bring him back, he got heart. I like guys like that. He reminds me more and more of the old school player, where the old school player, if he made a play like that, next week you'd give him a shot. The week after that, you'd give him a shot. But the new school, it says no. Even if he may be better than that other guy, the other guy costs us more money, and he was a higher draft pick. So we need to make sure he doesn't have it before we go giving it to anyone else. And then what happens is because of free agencies and, drafts, and he'll end up leaving and end up on some other team, flourishing. Yeah. I can only hope that we wise up on that one. Okay. If we keep Pierce, how would Champ Kelly do on the draft? You think he can do a good job? Great question, Edgar. And your car's dope. That profile picture is dope. Okay, first, I like Champ Kelly a lot. And Mark Davis literally loves Champ Kelly. So I could see a scenario where Champ Kelly, Kaylee. Where am I at now? Champ Kelly will be confirmed as the interim general manager. Well, without the interim label, as the general manager at the end of the season. Because he's going to show Mark Davis. I guarantee it. And Mark Davis, like a dad, wants to give him a shot. Because Mark Davis loves Champ Kelly. If you're ever in front of Mark Davis and you ever look for a comment that he's made about Champ Kelly, it's only going to be positive. He loves that kid. Now, as far as AP, Mark Davis is also extremely excited with how the team has responded to AP. And he is basically saying, we're going to work this out. We're going to get this going. So now you just saw him in the luxury box, Mark Davis, while we were playing the Dolphins, and there are people making a big deal out of what he was cussing and throwing things down and all that, but they don't have any audio. I would argue with you that the video looks like he's mad because he didn't have enough nacho sauce on his nachos. Deathly serious. I'm serious. How do we know what it was? And there were people on the morning show saying, oh, I think we could read his lips. Is that what we should go to? Reading his lips now? Maybe we could use a drone with a hot mic attached to it and just drop it in front of him. When he starts to go, God, dog it. No, we don't want to know what he's saying. It's probably terrible. Al Davis was a step the field guy. Yeah. Al Davis was a stretch the field guy. True. Mark Davis just needs to listen to the alumni when it comes to hiring a coach. I'm sure they would recommend AP to the coach. Well, they recommended AP to replace Josh McDaniels now. So he is listening, because when I was reporting to you that I reported 4 days before he was fired that he was going to be fired. Now, on that show, though, I did make it clear I thought it was going to be till the end of the season. Well, he pissed off Mark Davis about something else so much that he said, that's it, get this guy out of here. And then I got a report from my main guy who gives me a lot of behind the scenes stuff that the reason he really did this was because a Raider alumni went to him and said, this isn't just the fans that are talking, Mark. Your former legend players are wondering, what are we doing? Because they knew he wasn't a good head coach before we hired him. Do you see what I mean? So they were having words with Mark Davis because they're saying, hey, man, look, the word is out on this guy. You know what I mean? He's a coordinator. That's it. You know that guy, Hackett, that was the coach of the Broncos just before Sean Casey was. Okay, so they fired Hackett and they brought in Sean Casey to start rebuilding everything. Okay, well, Hackett ended up as the offensive coordinator of the Jets because of his relationship with Aaron Rodgers. But I can all but guarantee you, Hackett will never get another job never get another chance at a head coaching job. Never. And the reason for that is very simple. When you're a head coach, you have to have an innate capability of staying out of other things. You don't deal with the offensive liner. You let the offensive coordinator do that. You don't deal with the defense. You let the defensive coordinator do that. Stop sticking your nose into stuff. And instead, what you see with a lot of these alleged coaches is they want to put their hands into one or the other, as though Andy Reid, for example, doesn't call the offense. Of course he does. But he's also why the team was struggling for a while and they couldn't get it right. They had the brother who's now a coach at Washington Commanders, and he's not doing much better with them. You know what I mean? I think, though, that that loss was big. When they lost him, that was big. Bigger than they realized. Harold Donaldson, I guess I was wrong about us winning. No, it's one loss. Jeez. Let's not all jump ship just yet, okay? He had one bad game. Sorry to ask, but what happens to Garoppolo after this season? I don't think we can trade him because I don't think anyone will want him. He's got 1 year left on his contract after this season. We're going to have to pay him somewhere in the neighborhood of $12 million. There's catches and clause, how many games he could play. You get this much. Did he get past his physical and play a game? Those were stipulations. Workouts, he had workout stipulations and so on and so forth. So even though you've only heard the stipulations reported about his injury history, whether he gets injured or not, that's not the case. It was never just about that. There were other qualifiers that would kick in, and that's why he's going to get somewhere around 11 to 12 instead of like 35 million or whatever it was. But yeah, we're just going to pay him. He's going to go away. As far as nobody else wanting him, I don't know if I would go that far. Because a team like Seattle that's got Geno Smith knows that they don't have a starting quarterback. They just don't. You know what I mean? The Atlanta Falcons, might be looking for a veteran guy that get them over the top right now. What about the Jets? The Jets after Aaron Rodgers have nothing. And we saw what happened to Aaron Rodgers last season. I mean, not this year, in the previous part of the season. Now moving forward, if he gets the starting job again, are you still going to wait for little Wilson to be right? What if he goes down again? Maybe you need a Garoppolo. I don't know, but he's just as likely to get hurt too. I think you're right. He's probably done. R8RBEAR, I completely agree with you. The only reason I mentioned Wilson is because he was an exception, but I don't like a running quarterback. Yeah, I agree. Bear, what's up, Bob? Welcome to the show. I just know we had it in the bag. What was up with all of those screen passes without the blocks? Yeah, honestly, Harold, that could be a sign that some of the offensive linemen weren't on the same page as the play or with which offensive linemen were supposed to move out with the screen. You could see that it was concert done poorly, and all the actors didn't know their lines. Some of them did, some of them didn't, and you put on a bad show, in a sense. That was a terrible analogy, but I'm going with it anyway. You see, Tommy, I told you. Do you think Tyree Wilson will come back next season better, or do you think he is a bust? I don't like doing that to guys, man, when they just got it. I mean, he hasn't even completed a season. You know what I mean? He's a young guy, Marcus. We should give him his opportunities. Bust! He's a bust. He's a double Dutch bust. He is a buster. Bust, B-U-S-T. And I'm not talking about the good kind that you find on the front of the ladies. I'm talking about the kind that fails and never comes back. Arden Key. Sorry, ladies. Not to be rude. I just meant that as a joke. But the truth is, no, Marcus, no. I'd put foots in him if he was standing right in front of me, even though he's as big as a brick house. See, the problem is he has zero bend. He is not flexible. It's like watching Frankenstein try to take a yoga class. Ugh, ugh, ugh. You know, did I say he's not limber? I mean, he's too stiff. He plays football like a bar bouncer. You know what I mean? He just, I grab man and throw him. Oh, wait, can't throw this one. He's 360 pounds. I mean, I can't say it. Nice. Kansas City's losing. Nice. All right, here we go. Jalen Carter is the guy we should have drafted. If we had that guy, our defense would be phenomenal up front. Marcus Atchison, great comment. Now let me counter that. But would we have any more wins than we already do? Would our win-loss record be better? I don't know. Because I don't think that a guy like that necessarily does that. When you pair him with Max Crosby, then you're going to have me talking about it. But then that doesn't help the offensive line. That doesn't help them get off the field when their offense can't get off the field or stay on the field, and they're playing the opponent's offense down after down after down after down. You know what I mean? Most people have seen that Khalil Mack still has it. I mean, he really still has it. I was kind of surprised by it. He's starting to feel like LeBron to me, where he just plays like a normal football player, once in a while. And then when it's 3rd and 4, he hulks up and goes and gets a guy. And yet he's doing nothing with the Chargers. To me, that's a product of a bad defensive head coach that's calling the defense and berating reporters. I don't know these coaches, man. They just don't know. I'm going to try and coach him up here. Hey, Coach Staley, listen, when you come on and you get pissy with a reporter, we love that. Because it makes you look real, real bad. Because obviously the reporter didn't do anything. He's just asking you a fair question. Like, are you going to continue carrying the defensive play calling, Mr. Staley, or are you going to put on a defensive coordinator? Here's what I'm going to do, reporter. I'm going to do what I've been doing because I trust myself and I trust that locker room. Huh? You don't know anything about that, do you? Jesus. I mean, he just started ripping into the guy. All he said was, are you going to keep calling the defense? Yeah. Does Peters look like he's even trying? Rod Stiffington, he's kind of a ball hawk. He wants to play slants and stuff underneath. And then if guys get beyond him, he wants to release to the safety or safeties. That's just what he is. You know what I mean? That's why I was so surprised when the Raiders went after him so hard. I think he's a great corner for what he does. But outside of that, he's just okay. He's a questionable tackler. In other words, he tackles like Dion. It's a business decision on each tackle. That guy's huge. My decision is I'm going to get out of the way. That's a little running back. My decision is I'm going to go up there and hit that little guy. I'm dying on this hill. Can you see the losses tonight? And we sweep them. We take the division. Go Raiders. All right, DK. Now you're seeing the positives. Great show like always, brother. Appreciate that. I was really impressed with our defense. They hung with the number 1 offense in the league and forced turnovers. I think we have an action versus KC. Yeah, I'm guaranteeing a win this week. Attaboy. Let's see. But our future would be. We should have went after Chase Young. They got him for a 2nd-round pick, wasn't it? I couldn't believe that that's all they wanted. Oh, my God. I would have given him 2 2nd-round picks. And we got caught slipping on that one. A lot of other teams obviously did too. Only one team win. But the Niners to get him? I mean, come on. Let anyone get him other than the Niners. Our DBs are looking better as the season goes on. Hope they can stay healthy. Well, we already had Jacorian Bennett go down, and now he's back. So they're not staying healthy. But at the same time, the movement Amik Roberts has been getting, he's been going from corner to safety and so on. We got Nate Hobbs back. We can put him on that island when we need to now. And I kind of have faith in it. I don't mind admitting to you, those of you who know me, I always speak the truth. When I said the only thing about Nate Hobbs I don't like is he shouldn't be on a corner. He shouldn't be on the end one-on-one with the other team's number one receiver or number two, because that's not his skill. His skill is to play the bubble and to go into the nickel position or bring down running backs, because he's a fantastic tackler. But he has shown now that I was wrong in that estimation, that he can play some pretty good individual corner against wide receiver, and he's got the speed to do it. So we could see that again. I saw an article that Bill Belichick is going to the Chargers. That's a rumor that's out there, that if Bob Kraft, the owner of the Patriots, fires him, the Dolphins will be ready. Excuse me. Sorry, I got my team screwed up. The Chargers would be ready to move on that, because if you look at both circumstances, the Patriots are getting ready to fire Bill Belichick. They'll need a coach. And then the Chargers are getting ready to fire Staley. Then they'll need a coach. So Belichick goes to Staley's job, and Staley goes to his old job and doesn't get it. At least Staley could land with the Panthers, maybe. That could be good. Bear, I love your new time. It makes it a lot easier for us in the Central and Eastern time zones to watch your show. Much love back, brother. Appreciate you. Alexa, resume. You were lagging, okay? Faster next time. And that's my show. Shout out to our armed forces, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, National Guard, Space Force. For all you do, the energy and love of this show is dedicated to your sacrifice, active and veteran. Much love. R8RBEAR! I'll be on tomorrow at 4 for supporters only, and then again at 8, Raider Bear Live, Raider Bear Family Page. I love you guys. I really mean it. I love you guys. Oh, just the girls, not the guys. All right, some of the guys, but not that kind of love. You know what I mean. Knock it off.